Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Chemda, please, may I read yet another listener email, please?
Because you said nicely. Sure.
I love these so much. You'll see why. Hi, Keith and Chemda. I give many shits about this email, says Pete. I've been listening since about episode 120.
Ooh, that's first year shit, right? Yeah.
We are at 3,500 something. 120. I've emailed before about my shame a long time ago about Patrice, but I hope you can forgive me now. I guess he didn't know. There's definitely a show to listen to if you want to know what happened with Patrice being our gossip girl way back in the early episodes. Which one is that?
Which
one is that where people were talking about how they got ripped off by her?
Oh, I don't know. We'd have to ask Q&A.
All right. I'll also take a look at our forums. They'll tell you under this show. It's very exciting stuff going on. If you wondered, where did this woman go? Just thought I'd let you know how great your show is and always brings a smile or even sometimes a tear. I'm from England, so pip, pip, old boy. I knew they said that. I told you they said that. I've attached a photo of the L'chaim tattoo I had done in honor of yourselves about 7 years ago.
What? 7 years ago? That's in Hebrew and English, L'chaim.
Yes.
My God, this is the only reason why I want to talk to my parents again, and it's been like 10 years since we've been in touch. The only reason is to show them these Hebrew tattoos influenced by a show that they would despise if they heard. I mean, it's just, it would blow their mind, but I don't know if they know where to put it, and that's why we can't be friends.
I think you just want to ask them, can they have their feet towards you now? All these L'chaim feet tattoos I see. I didn't message it before because I wasn't sure you'd care that much.
We care
in
so
parentheses
much.
In the nicest way possible. I try to tell my girlfriend that when she tells me a story sometimes. I'm like, in the nicest way possible. Who cares? Of course I would care. You're my girlfriend or you have a tattoo that has something to do with something I do. Of course I would care. But after listening to a show not so long ago, you wanted more people to send them in. So here it is. Of course, KeithandTheGirl.com/tattoos. If your piece of work isn't there, it's a travesty.
You got to be on the wall of fame, on the Keith and the Girl wall of fame of tattoos. I mean, yes, we want to know. Was that a question? Yes. The answer is yes.
I love you guys. Well, it didn't sound like it for 7 years, but thank you. Now that I have that picture. Here's to another 17 years of great show, Pete says. Well, I got to check the calendar, but I appreciate it.
L'chaim.
Hey, guys, writes Ash. I've been trying to sit down and write this email for almost a month. I started listening to Keith and the Girl episode 296, Advanced Racism, it was called. I have no idea what a podcast really was. And I was even more confused when Keith started with a prayer.
Ugh.
Yep, still best decision we ever made to stop the prayer.
Yeah.
None of that mattered, though, because I was hooked. I was 26 at the time, was in the process of escaping an abusive relationship. I was isolated, depressed, scared, and alone. Keith said, if you're in one of these relationships, you and your partner flip a coin. Whoever wins, wins, and that's the end of it. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, I don't remember that, but that might work sometimes.
Your voices acted as a beacon in the storm that I found myself in at that time. Through your humor, bravery, and comedy, you quite literally reminded me that I could still laugh. I signed up for the forums when the website was an iPod on the front. Remember that? Yeah. iPod on the front, and I started binging all the episodes. You would go to our website, an iPod was small, got big. It had the latest show name and number on it, an arrow pointed to it. Buttons would light up. It was so cool. And then the whole world went up. What do they say in Shawshank? Just went up and,
got itself in a big rush.
Got itself in a big rush and said, you know what? We don't like art now. We like flat and boring. And so, all the icons and all the websites around the world, it's like, you're only cool if you're flat and boring. So people had to convince me not to have the iPod. But I loved it so much, I want to bring it back. 17 years later, they write, I'm still here. Through breakups, breakdowns, marriage, divorce, children, and moves, Keith and the Girl has been a constant in my life. Wonder if it's in that order. Children and moving the fuck away from them. Hearing Keith
he's our age.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hearing Keith admit he had an addiction to alcohol was a watershed moment for me. I was reminded in that episode how courageous Keith was to admit it, especially after having 40s taped to his hands. Well, it wasn't a surgical procedure, and also the kindness that Chemda showed. I traveled to Toronto to see you both live, and even though I was in a room full of strangers, I felt a sense of belonging right away. The community you both have built is amazing over the years. I even dated Keith and the girl's sexiest man for a long time. What? I dated Ashley? I love you guys. Congrats on 17. Here's to another 17, Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. That's beautiful.
Wow. Speaking of the Toronto trip, we mentioned this recently. And speaking of tattoos, we met someone on that trip. It was a weekend of Keith and the girl events. And we stayed in one location, separate rooms, everybody. It was this really cool dorm situation. And we met someone. First time they ever heard of us. They just happened upon the group. And there was a tattoo artist there doing people's tattoos as part of the fun. This dude tattooed cont'd.com. Those words.
Didn't know us. Didn't know what we did, meaning.
Yeah. cont'd.com. Like,
something was happening. Something was happening.
Community. He rapped for us, like all the shit. It's on the Canada DVD, the album now. Like you can download it from our store. And we never heard from him again. He partied until like middle of the night, like I think to the wee early of the morning. And we thought like, okay, maybe he's like drunk or whatever. We're going to hear from this guy tomorrow. Our website is on his skin.
Right.
So he's not going to have to look us up or anything. He's going to be like, oh, what did I do last night? KeithAndTheGirl.com. Never heard. It's been over a decade, I believe.
What was that movie where the guy forgot things the next day, so he had to tattoo clues? Memento had less clues on his fucking. It's right. Oh well. Yeah. Anyway, but see, that guy's probably on our wall of fame.
He is on our wall of fame.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Here's a little letter about Silent Trailers coming up. Silent Trailers is this Wednesday. Me against the 4 pieces of shit. Let's see. You guys can hear when I'm away from the mic, stolen for time, trying to find something. I know Mike Kaplan's there.
Jessica Watkins,
Liz Mealy,
Rod Morrow,
and I'm going to destroy them all. Silent Trailers, the greatest game show ever made. Your next Silent Trailers, this person writes, will be 3 days shy of my 45th wedding anniversary. I just spent 10 minutes correcting the spelling of anniversary and still did not get it right. By the way, no joke, they spelled they, Y-H-E, but you got anniversary correct. Just saying your net Silent Trailers, which I love, will be 3 days before my 45th anniversary. Not trying to be funny, couple hours. I hope you last as long as my marriage, spelled wrong, and not as well as my spelling. I think there's an I between the two L's. Anyway, thank you and happy anniversary. I'm going to win that game for you.
What's that person's name?
No name here.
No.
Peter. I see Peter. Sorry.
Dear Peter, happy anniversary. And thank you for sending us your first ever email. That we don't get a lot of firsts anymore on email. It's been a while. So this is like a really exciting moment right now.
Don't be ashamed to let that paperclip help you out, Peter. Okay. That's what it's there for. It's its only purpose. You give it meaning. Okay. Oh my God. I saw, Matt Gaetz, the Republican that's, they're looking into him fucking children and paying underage prostitutes. I think is he running for governor, I think, of Florida? Because he just tweeted out, it's choose your fighter time. I'm yours spelled wrong. That's why I bring it up. Florida man. What? Florida man is the joke of the one guy going around doing all this weird, crazy shit in Florida. They go, we found Florida man again today. And it's a whole different story. A guy, pissed in an alligator's mouth and lost his balls. How could you be governor and not know who your man is?
This makes a lot of sense that he's after children because he spells like one.
Yes. Thank you. Now come to see why grammar is important. All right, let's get to our guest. You're in for a treat. You love her. We do, obviously. Featured on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Regular at New York Comedy Club. Hilarious. Carmen Lagala. How you doing, Carmen?
Hello. Oh, my gosh. Is this a weird time to bring up that I got a tattoo of both of your faces on my ass cheeks? I didn't know if
why wouldn't you tell us first?
It just didn't seem relevant, until that email. And then I was like, they should know about this.
This is the great Carmen Renee Lagala, of course. And it's so good to see. Carmen, I know everything. There's nothing I don't know about you. I know about how's Larry doing? Is Larry around?
You remembered. You have notes, but that's
Larry
really
the
smart.
cat.
That's really
It's
smart.
not even, it's right in my head. You use a Nuva ring, correct?
You're on my Twitter.
everything.
You're on my Twitter. There it is.
know
I forgot.
everything.
I was like,
Pansexual, pansexual.
You're watching my jokes?
I know
Wow.
everything.
Okay, all right.
All right,
Larry is great. What a good cat.
Good. We'll talk about everything. The other day, this past weekend, I went to the Borgata. Kyle was performing there. She was fantastic, of course. Before I went, I was on the subway, and I'm about to go through the turnstile leaving, but a woman was already started her subway card to come in, which it does get a little nuts, right? During the rush hours.
Yeah,
right?
you have to time it. People have to watch each other's body language, and you have to see where that person is aiming towards and somehow go. But I think you're right. When it comes to that big traffic area, there should be an in and out. Like this side is in for just this like 3 hours, or how long is commuter traffic? 6 hours? What do you guys do out there? What's going on?
It's a bit when I get caught in it. So I back up, and I have a backpack on, with everything for the weekend. And I feel that I hit somebody behind me. So immediately I go, oh, I'm sorry. Even before I'm turned all the way around, I go, oh, sorry. And this woman goes, are you serious? Just like that. Just like that, I switch. And I guarantee my eyes change color. And I go, yes, I'm very serious. That was serious what I did. I'm serious. Should we have a discussion about it? How do we make this right? So at this point, she goes to the turnstile beside me to not deal with this, but that only means we both now get out of the turnstile at the same time and we're side by side. I go, we should discuss this, right? And she's like, and then stares and tries to give me a bad look, like that's gonna scare me, but I don't stop. We should talk about. There's 2 cops right there. Do you think maybe they can help us? And then she starts that walking that's almost running and goes to a different exit. I was so pleased. And I understand, of course, the literal power dynamic, but I want her to go home and think for a second, like, the idea would be maybe I was a little much. I will at least take, what was I thinking he could have ate my face?
Now, I want to say, what were you thinking? She could have had a gun. Like, I get it, but you are escalating. You are doing that thing that you tell people not to do, right? Like you're at a fast food place, you ask for extra sauce, they go, and you get shot, right? Like, did all this
in a gun factory? Maybe I wouldn't do this in Texas. But I would do it during rush hour in a subway with all these people around. With a woman that's stressed, she's obviously coming home from work. You can tell. Maybe it was a bad day. But then she had her little suit jacket and her hair just so, and her eyes with attitude.
Now, Carmen, what do you think about this? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I actually do want to put you on the spot.
No, it's New York City. You have to win these tiny interactions. You don't really need to have an anger management class if you live in New York City.
Right.
You can just get it out here. I feel like that's what we're all doing, right? We just have these little micro fights and you feel really good for a little. You're like, I got to yell at someone and I was right.
We all have it in us. Absolutely. Yeah. That's where everything comes from, I think. I think the major problems in the world, whether you want to talk about war or drug abuse, it all stems from people not letting out these little fights and not caring about grammar. It's all about communication.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
And then I saw one of those trucks. It's by the Port Authority. I took the bus. I've not renting the car. I'm like, the casino's going to rip me off enough. They sell weed. Is this stupid? I know you've seen it before, but you saw it on a crate, Penda. A big truck. Weed. We sell all kinds of weed.
I've been seeing
that. And if you Google it, it says you can't do that.
Yeah, I've been seeing that for years, even before recreation was really allowed, even before like the decriminalization. It always shocked me. And I always thought it was like a really weird sting operation. Like we catch the stupid here. We catch the more like undercover drug situation somewhere else. And I'm like, and I have spoken to those people, like, is there actual weed in this? And you know what I find? They have those half answers, like, they will be like, yeah, there absolutely is. And I'm like, okay, fine. I guess if it has like a tiny bit, you're allowed to say. I'm like, will I get high? And they're like, well, we don't know what you're talking. No one's getting high off of this. This is just candy. It's more sugar. I'm going to get high off the sugar. Maybe. Is that what you mean? So I don't know. It's very strange.
They said, I said, how much was in the lollipops? They said 100 milligrams.
Okay.
But I also don't know because, so I got 2. Then,
really?
Yeah. And nothing, I couldn't tell because I'm also smoking. Right. But, weed from a joint. But, when I was in California, I had the edibles in California and you ain't in California no more. When I in New York, these edibles can lick my ass pipe. Those fucking.
That is not, Keith. There's no way it's 100 milligrams. You would have thought you were on a bus and you're really just sitting on a corner. There's if you made it to Atlantic City on this bus, you were not on an edible that was 100 milligrams. You might have even thrown up. Your threshold is like rising because I think you're like a regular pot smoker at this point. But
thank you.
100 milligrams, No, I wouldn't think twice at this point, but I would think, I would think once about taking 100 milligrams. Maybe they meant milligrams. I mean, did you listen carefully?
No, I didn't. There's a lot of car honking. My throat started hurting a little bit close to the end. And I'm like, maybe it's working. Like I was happy. I'm like, yo, poison can't be good for your throat and poison makes you feel funny.
No, because this is not poison. It's not like alcohol where you're waiting for it to hurt. No, you're waiting to fly. Were you flying or were you just flapping your wings like an asshole?
Well, it's funny. I couldn't I wasn't a fan, but then on my way back home, I passed them and I wanted to see if the price changed or anything like that. And I go,
how much were they?
How much for a lolly? They were one for $10. I go, hey, how much is a lollipop? And they go, $10. I go, okay, thank you. I just want to know. And I start to leave and they go, I could give you 3 for 10. What was it? 3 for 15. 3 for 15. And instead of going, forget it. Like, I'm like, well, in the end, that's a big fucking deal. And I bought it again. So I got 3 lollipops in my house right now.
Yeah. They just walk away again. And it's like
it's
15
hard.
for $3.
I was just at the fucking casino. You see a deal, you take it.
I see. Okay. I didn't know you were still in casino head. Carmen, have you seen these trucks? These weed trucks?
I have. I just assumed they were like a little bait and switch and you get in and they're like, actually, it's just CBD. You heard of it? Like a Christian like rock camp. They're like, you're going to rock camp and you get there and it's Christian rock camp and you're like, fuck. All right.
You know what? That makes the most sense. Maybe it's CBD because 100 milligrams.
Yeah. They're like, it's weed. They just mean hemp or, what do you, yeah.
Did you also get like a burlapish t-shirt from them as well?
That was 100.
Okay.
Yeah. Or hemp clothing. It's nice and stiff and scratchy.
Yeah. It brings bugs pretty quickly. If it gets wet, that's fun.
Oh yeah. Damn. So on the bus, first thing I do is I start watching the next episode of Severance, the show on Apple TV. Is anybody here watching that?
No, I severed myself from that thought.
This dumb dog piece of shit. There's a technology supposedly that you can, it's fake, of course, that you can separate your work life from your personal life. So when you show up to work, you don't know about your personal life and vice versa.
Interesting.
Oh, I have heard of it.
For 62 hours. So I think I'm on episode 6 and they're really trying to show me work is boring. Like none of us do it. It's boring. That's the charm that your show's boring too. It's from Ben Stiller, who also made, other than his comedy, he also made Escape from Dannemora. They called this woman, speaking of Shawshank, Shawskank, and she's the one who had sex with prisoners and let them out. Mm-hmm. Remember this?
Mm-hmm. I do, yeah.
That was fantastic. But this, oh my God, I'm at work again. I know you're at work again.
Maybe they're trying to make you forget that there are other shows and movies on Netflix.
Well, here's the thing with this show. Not only am I already in, there's at least 3 episodes left. I'm in even more than just watching an hour episode. I'm in like each episode is like 7 hours worth. So like I'm really in. So, because it's so boring. I'm in. I got to call my therapist today. I don't want to finish it. And I know I will. And it makes me want to cry.
Is there a way to forget that you've watched it?
Right.
Maybe.
I'll shoot myself in the head before this thing ends. There's my Severance.
Wow, Keith,
eight lollipops.
It's angry. I'm mad. I'm mad at Ben Stiller right now.
Are you hearing all the feelings that Keith has just expressed?
That's art. Oh, Ben, you did good. That's art. It's not going to fucking come together. Fuck you. 6 episodes in, I don't know what their work is. Oh, that's a hoot.
That's going to be the twist.
Yeah.
That's so you can't like remember if you're like fun and funny at work and not getting anything done. Like you go home and you don't know that you're like the office prankster.
Right. You don't know that. You also,
Sucks.
you don't, right. You don't know if you're having an affair.
You know if you're eating people's lunches.
Right. Yeah, you an asshole. You go home, you podcast, you go to work, and you don't know that you're the asshole. Like this guy bumped into me and I said, "Are you serious? You don't know my day." And he goes, "I am serious." What the fuck?
Are you serious? No, I'm kidding.
So I tried to watch something a little more lighthearted. You see this show, Worst Roommate Ever on Netflix?
I avoided it because I saw that it was like, oh, they moved in and they never moved out because there's some sort of law that now I live here now. And I'm like, that's too stressful. I live in New York City. And for some, like, even though no one's coming into my place, they haven't in years. It's like stressful for me. But Keith's like, I'm going to talk about it. I'm like, all right, let me just make sure that because Keith will have a tone, whatever that tone is. I want to know if I watched it in that tone or not. And I saw the first episode. Okay. I don't know if you wanted to have your thoughts first, but this woman was a serial killer.
Okay? Each show is a different story. Yeah.
Is this reality TV?
Yes. Yeah. Reenactments in reality. Yeah.
Documentary stuff. Yeah.
Oh, so, okay. Yeah.
So they're telling a story. This woman's already dead, and I'm not giving away anything. She was like 100 years old in the show, but turns out she was 50. Blah, blah, all this stuff. She's actually
she was younger.
Yeah, she was.
And
younger.
They explain that they go, she was younger in the past, and then they go. Then they explain what just happened. Like it's not Netflix. Like we just came back from a commercial, or maybe they know we're doing dishes and detailing our cars because every 15 fucking minutes they remind you what you just saw.
I don't know if I caught that as much as I was like, I remember before like 20 years ago, and it was just in the past 20 years that this changed. You could murder, destroy, fucking rob and steal, pillage, the whole nine. And everyone will be like, we can't even tell who this is. I don't know. I mean, right. Betsy was missing for like the amount of time, but we have no evidence. This can't. They were okay. This woman was like a little old lady. She dressed like a little old lady. You know the Cards, Old Maid. She purposefully made herself look even older, like an old maid. And this woman from like some kind of services of like placing, homeless people and people with like mental illness into places where they would feel comfortable, get a little better. And she's like, we knew about this woman who was taking in these people. And, she used to be like a pillar of the community, blah, blah, blah. And when I walked in, she was petting a box of cats and like the world stopped. Okay.
Right.
Can you imagine this old woman? And they show you like a cartoonish version of it. And it's like, wow, that's an old woman petting cats. And that was the description of this woman. And they were like, have all of our mentally ill and our homeless. You're an old woman petting cats. I mean, who could she hurt? She's petting cats.
Who's she moving in with?
And no, she lives there. She's the one taking in all these people. And it's like, oh my God, this little lady who's petting cats. Turns out she's a fucking serial killer stealing their government money and burying them. They never got into how does this woman carry them into the backyard and bury at least 7 bodies.
But she takes in homeless people. Is this what you're saying? She takes in homeless people?
Yeah, she takes in mentally ill, people who are homeless. She takes care of them. Every Wednesday, she makes burritos for anyone who wants to come around. She's just this amazing person. But this isn't new. She has a history starting when she was like 18, 20 of giving people drugs, the kind of drug they called stupefying drugs. And basically you're up and you can see what's going on, but you cannot move at all. She did that to a date. She did that to a best friend and stole all her money. She was doing that like left, right, and center, but no one looked her up because she was petting cats.
Maybe come to saw a good one because I didn't. This sounds exciting.
It was the first one.
I don't know. It was really Kyle watching. I'm watching parts over his shoulder, but everyone I saw, it reminded me of that's enough to hate it, Carmen. It reminds me of the Tinder swindler, where I didn't feel bad for the victims whatsoever. They show you the victims, and then the victims try to look tough in the camera. It's produced by Blumhouse, who makes a lot of horror movies, and they try to make this like it's a horror movie, right? They put worst roommate ever comes on the screen, text, and then you know what I mean? Worst roommate ever. So they try to scare you. That's the way witches come out, and then the victim always looks at the screen like, and I'm like, I think that's the bad guy, and then they tell their story, and they're like, I saw a couple, and it was always the same kind of story where it's like, okay, they love the quote. That's when I realized. That's when they realized that the person was a psychopath. So I had this new guy into my place. He didn't pay rent yet, but we were going to have him in my place. Okay. Anyway, he was telling a grandiose story. I said he's full of shit. He was drinking, so he said, "Hey, fuck you." That's when I realized. Anyway, the next day, he took me to Chili. So I brought everything in liquid, all cash. You know, he said that's the smartest way to do it. But now he's drinking, and I never saw that before. Things got crazy. That's when I realized. And they also like could die. And you're also looking at cartoons every so often of the person that, of course, you didn't get permission to really videotape. And the cartoon. Did yours have cartoons?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're so bad. They're poorly drawn.
I appreciated them. I was like, whatever, I got nothing to look at. This person's dead.
They have the person staring so boringly in picture form, and then they go, and that's when I realized, and then the person, they draw it angry.
Oh, okay.
By the way, if you're ever doing one of these shows and you're a victim, don't do the B-roll even if they ask you to. Walking down the street. You look like an asshole. Hey, go get your mail. We're going to throw that in. You look like a weirdo. Say, no, I'll tell my story sitting down.
You know what? I've thought of stuff like that where it's like there's certain things where people are getting interviewed and they get a close-up, so close up that you can see their pores. And I'm like, nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. Did school teach you this? I don't want to see their pores. They don't want me to see their pores. I don't know why I could see their nostril hair at this point. What kind of shots are these? Carmen, you haven't seen this show, have you?
No, I have good roommates, so nothing to fear.
Are we selling it for you, or are you like, oh, good, another thing to avoid?
Yeah, no, I will not watch that. I don't like any show where they have to piecemeal it together because they don't have any footage whatsoever. So they're just like, here's a bush with weird lighting. No.
So you're not big into the History Channel? No.
Some of those shows are longer than the wars.
Yeah.
This one guy in this show, he took all the dining room chairs from this woman's kitchen, put it in his room. And she goes, where'd the chairs go? And he's yelling through the door, they're mine now. And she goes, all of them. That's the next thing you would say is all of them, though? They're mine now. All of them? You don't need 6 chairs, right? Like, no, they're mine, and I'll do what I want.
I'm sitting in a chair that I took from the kitchen and haven't put back in 8 years. So maybe I'm the worst roommate. The twist. It was me the whole time.
And then this woman with missing the chairs goes, 2 months later, he wanted to take me to South Africa. But that's when I realized all of you can die. All of you. What the fuck?
I think Chili's was the bigger red flag in that other one.
Right.
You should realize.
Chili the country, to be clear. But Chili's is something too. Yeah.
I thought you said Chili's the restaurant earlier. And I was like, oh, no.
And he wanted me to get all cash, and that's when I realized. I don't know.
That makes more sense. I fully thought you meant Chili's the restaurant. And I was like, what a weird place to go. But sure.
And then there's a new show on Netflix called Is It Cake?
Ooh, is it?
You know what?
Don't spoil it for me.
I understand these people. What's that word for people who, is it nihilist? What are these people that are like, there's no point to anything and we're all just going to die?
Sounds right.
Well, that's this show. Who cares? I can't control the war. Okay, it'll happen. There's going to be wars forever. COVID, no one gives a fuck. All right, we'll all die. Who cares? Take off the mask. Who gives a fuck? Sneeze in each other's mouths. Do whatever the fuck you want because there's a show called Is It Cake? And it's number one. And what
it's not number one. No.
Mikey Day from SNL does his version of a cooking show. And what's going to happen is you're going to look at a handbag and go, that looks wrong, idiot. I cut it. It's cake. Now, how do you make that a show that's longer than half hour? I'll tell you. It's like a 40-minute show. So So first they go, all right, you're the 10 people we picked. We're going to play a little game here. You have to look at handbags and tell me which handbag is cake and which isn't. And then they guess 50-50 shot because these chefs are good and you can't get too close. And then they go, okay, you 3 got it right. You other 7, sit down on the couch and you're going to watch them bake. All right, let's put 8 hours on the clock. 8 hours?
Cakes are a long time.
That's a hoot to fucking watch for 8 hours. Like they're lying, right? They get to take a nap and they just come in every so often. Because I guarantee Mikey Day isn't there for 8 fucking hours, one segment. So then the chefs make some version of something, and then they have celebrity guest judges, comedians, who have to figure out if what they made is real or a cake.
By the way, they're not all comedians. The first one, Fortune, is a comedian. Right. The other guy is a food guy that goes around.
A food guy that goes around places. And this food guy that goes around places, when he has to say something because he's eating, then you eat the cake for no fucking reason. It doesn't give you points, nothing. You just get to see the fun of people eating cakes. And then that guy goes, for the first one, he's like, the vanilla and the sprinkle, this pops. And then the other thing, whatever the fuck that was, the shoe they ate, he goes, and the strawberry with the cream filling, that pops. That's what that guy does for a living?
Yeah, basically.
Fuck this.
He's just a really nice. Yeah, he's just a really nice guy who got popular, I think, mostly from YouTube. And he has like a sort of traveling I Taste Food show. And the other guy was a chef who I think just came out with a book. So probably looking to promote. So they got a real booking coup in that first episode. I don't know. Why are you watching this? Were you stuck on an airplane?
It's a guy from Saturday Night Live, and it's a show. It's number one. I'm like, let me give this a. I'm not. I mean, if it. Hopefully, I learned my lesson from Squid Game. But here, I'm like, all right, let me see at least a little bit of this. I mean, there's got to be a gimmick to it. There's not. It's the old thing. Is it cake? It is. They take a knife. They cut. I can't
believe you just compared that to Squid Game, that's rude. There's so much in Squid Game. You're like the only one who didn't get like a little bit of something. Some people cried, me in that one episode where everybody cried and should cry. And you're girls, like, yes,
and the marbles.
Yes, of course. And you're comparing that to Is It Cake? Literally, the whole show is explained in the title. Is it a show? Can you explain that to me? You know what it should be called? Is it a cake or is it a show? And then this way, at least you have cake.
Is It Cake made me cry?
Yeah. You cut your computer in half at the end and you're like, oh my God.
Your TV was a cake the whole time.
Yeah.
They'll cut open something, let's say a computer. They cut it open and then like turn the knife to the contestants to be dramatic. Like, did you get it right if it's cake or not? But the knife is big to cut it. You can't tell. And everybody goes, is that a cake? So is it? And Mikey Day's got to be like, it's a hamburger, not a cake. Oh, and then the dramatic music. Maybe a smaller knife.
Maybe a sharper knife.
Oh my God.
I want one where they cut out, they just like keep insisting that it's cake, but it's clearly a purse. And they're just having a really hard time cutting. Yeah. No, it's cake. They're like, wow.
And then the host eats the actual. I'm telling you, it's cake.
So there's nothing on the screen for me. So this is why I had to go to the Borgata also. I on the bus on the way there also, I played poker. I played this. This was a long bus. I played poker that we play with friends. Chem to Xerxes, a couple other people. All right, $20 buy-ins. You can buy in twice after that.
You were on the bus on Friday night when you were playing us?
I did it on my phone. That's why I wasn't in the Zoom chat.
I see. Okay.
Were you guys? What were you guys talking? Like, we gotta get rid of this fucking guy. He's not even in the Zoom
We
chat.
always, even when you're in the Zoom chat, we say that.
I thought maybe you're nicer when I'm not there.
No, we're mean. No.
You know, like those comedians that pick on you and then they're like, it's all out of love. I'm like, it didn't sound it, but all right. He said one sentence at the end. It's out of love. I guess we're all good. Okay. Yeah. So I
Carmen,
did not do good.
Do you play poker?
No, I haven't in years. I used to be really good at it when I could play with something low stakes like Skittles, But if I play with real money, I'm very bad.
Okay. Good to know. You want to play with us?
Yeah. As long as I gave away all my secrets just now. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good.
I lost $60 on that bus to Camden and the folks. Right.
What we do is $20 buy-ins, and you only have 2 additional buy-ins. So the most you could spend is $60, and then you don't get to do it. And in fact, the buy-ins stop an hour in so that it's not a forever thing. Gotcha. So Keith rebought in the first 7 minutes because I took him out. Just saying, since we're on the topic.
I had a full house and somebody throwing up in my lap. So anyway, I get to it wouldn't bother me losing all the times I tried to play poker if I wasn't already going to a casino knowing that's a scam and I have to fight them. Mm-hmm. So to me, the whole system, I started -60. I didn't even get into the casino yet. That's how I looked at it, and I couldn't help it. So immediately I went to a roulette wheel.
Oh, Lord.
And I put 60 on black.
Mm-hmm.
And I won. And I'm back.
Hey.
And the smile on my face, you would have think I was in Ocean's 11. I just scoop up my money. I go, thank you. And I'm walking away. And I don't know if I should ask for security or anything, but I just walked right up to the room and it felt very, very good.
Wow. Last time I tried that on a roulette wheel, it turns out the roulette wheel is a cake.
I got my money home and I cut it in half. I'm like, fuck. So when I won, I just go by, okay, there's been a million reds. Let's say at least 6. It's got to be black now.
Oh, you're going with logic. That's good.
Let me tell you something, funny girl. I knew
funny girl was coming.
You earned it. You're a funny girl. Funny girl does. Yeah.
Oh, as long as I'm not a fun girl. I feel like that's more of an
right. That's different. That's different. That includes the asshole. So what I would do is, just nobody's with me, so I can do whatever I want. So I'm walking, like Kyle wasn't there at the time, and I'm walking around all these roulette wheels, and whenever one, hits me that it's been one color for so long, I play that. Boom, $25. Boom, $25. Boom, $50. Boom, $50. I think I could be. I'm just saying could be, because somebody has to. The smartest roulette player of all time.
Wow, what a brand!
Yeah.
Wow.
Business cards. They didn't get me at all.
What were you up by? That sounds like
fucking easily $200.
Wow.
Damn.
Easily. And then at one point I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put 50 on this one. This feels like I would do it, but all right, let's see if the universe teaches me a lesson. I would have won. I learned nothing. Next time I go in there, I'm leaving with $1 million fucking dollars. Just because when you're with your friends, you got to stay at the same roulette table where you look like a fucking weirdo. But if you're not with anybody, just circle the whole roulette thing of 8 tables. And when it's about time, that's when you strike. That's pure and simple. That's my pamphlet.
Sound advice.
$600.
Carmen, are you writing this down? You're going to be playing the Borgata and you're not going to know how to bet. You got it down?
The American roulette wheel they added the double zeros. Europe doesn't have that because America's like, fuck them. Now I do the fucking. Who do you think you are? I am.
Look at how excitable Keith gets on the show.
Yes.
But I bet if we saw the surveillance of him at the casino, how not animated were you? Or were you animated?
I had that, I had the Grinch grin from mouth to ear that I wouldn't be surprised if security was talking to each other. Like, what is up with this guy? Did he just do something? Keep a camera on him. Yes, I was very, very pleased.
Congrats. That's exciting.
Thank you. We went to a steakhouse and they got it all back. They win in the end.
What were you saying, Carmen?
Oh, so if there was a game that you could play in the betting hall, I don't know what it's called, and it was cake or not, do you think you'd be good at it? It's a 50-50 chance.
Do you have to stand 600 feet away like the contestants do on this TV show?
600 feet? At that point, it could be a fucking bomb. I don't know if it's a purse or cake. How far away do they have to? Because I'm confident I'd be really good at that game.
You're kind of far.
I think they are like 6 or I would say 12 feet, possibly, unless it's like it just looks further away, but at least 6-10 feet, something like that. Enough where like we're getting the close-up version. So we're like, okay, that's too perfect to be a burger with cheese and it's fake melted. So we can see a little bit, but it's hard from a distance.
And you're not even playing at home. At least I wasn't. I saw how, let's say she makes the cheese for the cheeseburger. Then they show me the cheeseburger and I remember the cheese she made.
Oh, I fast forwarded. I was like, oh, they're making cheese. I think I get it.
But listen to that. I'll tell you another way I won. It's a very exciting weekend. Kyle gets to use the cafeteria that they have for the workers. So now I take her card. I go in and I'm the fucking king, right? And I'm grabbing all the food. I'm fucking rich. Then Kyle says, hey, can you bring me up some food also? And I got, I got, you're not allowed to leave with food though. That's the thing. And I have food like wrapped up in napkins in one hand, juice without a lid in the other. But you're fucking with the wrong guy because I don't know where the fuck I am in the end. And now I'm behind the scene. And you think a casino floor is confusing, which it is because it's deliberately made that way. Everything's spread apart. So you keep running into ways to lose money.
But just in case you don't know, Carmen, he is the worst with directions. He's gotten so he'll look at the dot and it'll somehow land him behind the counter at some, airport security. And are you that bad, Carmen?
Me? Remember when I tried to get to your studio physically and I did it wrong twice, knowing the first time that I did it wrong, I still somehow screwed it up again the second time. And I was like an hour and a half late for recording.
And then we opened up our bathroom door and she was in there. It was a mess. So now I'm walking around with 7 pounds of bread pudding and loose juice in the behind the scenes area, which is old tunnels, but it's still crazy. In fact, there's so many, you can walk in all these different places behind the scenes that they have a sign up that says, don't forget to get your exercise in. And it's actually, it's offices, of course, but it's also a trail that you can walk. Never mind all the food shit, but you can walk through that trail and stay sane. So I have to ask somebody eventually, hey, how do I get out of here? But I work here. Because there's even a sign, by the way, that says, act like customers can come back and see what's going on.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they don't, by the way. They hate you. They hate you. They're talking about every fucking move you make. Trust me.
Whoa, like what? I don't know if you heard.
Just wanted to call the police on this bitch next time. And then, they're just, talking shit about everybody getting drunk and gambling their life away.
Wow.
So I asked one guy and he said, I'll point to it, but I don't want to walk the whole way. I'm like, okay. Are you treating me like a customer? No. So, I start walking, but then of course I get lost again. Then I see another guy and I go, hey, I'm trying to find the casino floor. And he goes, this is for the employees. And then I just stare and I go, okay. And that's what I'm trying to do more of, Carmen.
Yeah.
Because you see other people doing this and it's working out fucking great for them. Okay. You get busted doing some, or you're stupidly confused, or you just don't like the way it's going. Like, no, you didn't pre-register that car online. I did. Well, you obviously didn't because you don't have an account. Okay. So we can't help you. Okay, here's the car. It's free. Okay. So, I go, okay. And then, of course, he shows me the way. Yeah, definitely. That's the secret to life. He doesn't care if I'm dating a comic. Why would I waste his time? Just stand there. And then you get saved. Yeah. So,
Carmen, are you good at confrontation when it comes to things like that? Like, oh, I shouldn't be here, or I'm I want to get away with something?
No, I have a look on my face like I'm doing something wrong when I'm doing things not wrong.
Again, do you want to play poker with us?
Here's all my money.
Yeah. Mr. Rogers says, what? Go where the helpers are. There's always people helping. And I'm like, just stare. There's always someone there and they'll lead you to safety. People love to help the stairs, you know?
That's how we feel on the streets, me and Carmen. Just stare at some dude and he'll always lead us to safety. It feels good to know that. It's just a universal fact that everyone will get led to the most safe space on earth for them.
They had in the cafeteria, they had on Fox News. And I'm like, oh no, you hate to see that. But it was during the afternoon. And I'm like, maybe they just don't play the evening one because there's a big difference. The daytime Fox News is live news. So you can pretty much trust it. Then by the time the evening comes, they tell you how you didn't see whatever you just saw.
Did you make up that the behind the scenes is going to get better for the workers by somebody changing the channel the way that you would want it to?
It would bug me. It would bug me if I had to see Fox News every day. But on my last day, they did have MSNBC on. So I don't know if you just have to have the balls to change it or Tuesdays and Thursdays or MSNBC days. I don't know. Did you see that tonight? Kid Rock will sit down with Tucker Carlson for a one-on-one interview on Tucker Carlson tonight. Let's get to the bottom of these issues.
What are they going to learn from Kid Rock? His name is Kid Rock.
He's the bull god.
Okay. I want to rock. Look, it's Kid Rock in the studio. What do you have to say? Oh, well, I've been experimenting in my house during COVID. Turns out I'm a scientist. I looked up a lot of shit. Oh, what did you look up? A lot of shit. Have you heard of a YouTube video? What's happening?
Well, I wouldn't trust him talking about the TV show Is a Cake, to be honest. No offense to Bob, but I went a little off the rocker. 10 million people have fled their homes in Ukraine. Vladimir Putin is being accused of abducting and deporting thousands of civilians from Ukraine, just transporting them deep inside Russia to, obviously lower civilian morale.
I'm starting to think that this guy is up to something.
He's trouble. But listen to this. Russian cosmonauts, that's their fun way of saying astronauts, arrived wearing the colors of the Ukraine flag as clothing.
Holy shit.
Yeah. The next flight, though.
Alive?
No, the next flight is to the moon, but it's really Siberia and it's a bus. Yeah. But anyway.
Wow.
That's something.
You ever think of that? Like, we're just like, oh, we're comedians. We say things, but would you have the balls to wear the flag of the country that you're at war with?
I'd first look if Ukraine had a space program and if it's any good. That's what I'd first look up. You have to assume that you're kind of fired. I would assume.
I wouldn't even go into like TGI Fridays with like an Applebee's shirt to go to work. Like,
right.
No,
right.
man. You get
it? Ukraine's president praises Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher for, quote, inspiring the world after they raised nearly $35 million for the country.
Wow.
A bunch of the money is going to Airbnb to help people out. Ashton Kutcher happens to be an investor of Airbnb, but I don't know what any of that means. It sounds good, and let's just end it there. Good for them.
There are also people like buying Airbnb places or like renting Airbnb spaces and then not going just to kind of help the economy over there.
Right.
So I guess Ashton Kutcher is doing pretty well then, based on what you just ripped up.
The news was on the bus on the way back, and our bus looked like worse refugees than Ukraine. Nobody could really relate. These are some scary buses coming out of that Atlantic City Port Authority. I feel like I forget every time. But and by the way, speaking of getting behind the scenes, when you're in line for a bus, everybody's your friend. When those guys are on the bus before you, oh, they're like, how many seats are left in there? There's like 14 seats. 2.
Ha.
And then I get on. I'm like, oh, you got us. And he's like, we tried. Fuck
Wow.
you. Fuck you. Okay. A guy came in. A guy came on the bus with pants down to his, like thighs, and it's not a fashion statement. It's disgusting. And he had like a rid bag of shit, and then the bag rips as he's getting on the bus, and it's all over the place. And the customers just start yelling at him like, "Get an Uber! Like, I can't afford it." You better hurry up. I'm gonna leave your ass on the corner. This isn't the driver. This is the passenger in front of me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And really, I've been on that bus to Atlantic City, and that's the only way to go. I mean, renting a car is stupid. There's no reason to have one when you're there. We looked up riding our bikes there, but there's no good path, so you can't do it. But that bus, man, you got to go like on an off time or something, hopefully, when like, I don't know, people are just getting to work or didn't take the day off. What time did you go?
I went
Friday
Sunday
night.
like rush. I had to go Sunday at rush hour.
Yeah, and then you left Friday night when everyone's going for the weekend.
Yes.
You came back when everyone's coming back. Oh, that's the smelliest bus.
I had some bad timing. So this guy's huge, and he's getting on. He goes, sorry for my disability. And then the woman in front of me was like, yeah, your disability. An ounce of crack, an ounce of meth, an ounce of...
That's too much talking. That's too much talking on a bus. Everybody should just be looking out of the window or on their like book.
And then he goes, what the fuck are you doing? And she goes, hey, I ain't picking on you. I'm 70 and I'm still trying to figure out how to come. We had a whole stand-up act.
She said, I'm still trying to figure out how to come.
Yeah, she's too old now and she's trying to figure it out.
Like, so did she has a disability too? No, I have so many questions.
I have to assume she was able to younger and now can't. That's why. But I didn't push it. I didn't punch it up.
No, you need to go back and figure out. That would be my whole focus on. I'd be like, let's switch the seats around. I have an interview. Get to the bottom of this. Yeah.
What? Are you, Carmen, with you? I don't know how they are now, but some years ago, 5 or so, you started getting panic attacks. Would you get one like on a public bus, that kind of thing?
On a public bus, I had I could get one on a public, but they kind of pop up whenever they want to now, which is weird. They're not so bad anymore. I kind of figured out how to hack them. But I did get sleep paralysis on a bus once, which paralysis, where I fell asleep on the bus and then your brain wakes up, but your body stays frozen. What is it called when you're, because it doesn't want to act out your dreams or whatever. And then I
but in the dream, but you see stuff, so you're awake-ish, but you still see like a demon on your chest or something. Yes,
I hallucinated that the bus driver was a demon and he was coming back.
Wow. It's always demons.
Yeah. What was
your actual? If I sat next to you, what would I be looking at that point?
I had 2 seats to myself, so I was kind of curled up in a ball. So you would just see me kind of asleep, maybe twitching a little bit, trying to get out of it. I did get out of it, but everyone was off the bus at that point. It was very embarrassing. Last one off the bus. Yeah.
Did they have to tell you like, hey, get off the bus?
No, I think I got just in time. Like everyone had just exited. Maybe a couple more minutes, he would have come back and been like, hey, are you dead? What's happening?
Is it true that some people are told don't talk about your sleep paralysis because that brings it back? That's true.
Yes.
Imagine your therapist telling you that, like, no, we don't discuss it. Like, well, you have to discuss it. It's ruining my fucking life.
Exactly. Nightmares. Well, it gets worse. Yeah, it's
right.
Wow, what a perfect combination of the most awful things possible. Sleep paralysis is crazy.
So what do you do? Anxiety, what do you do? That counting bullshit? One car over here, 2 houses over here.
I like that one. I like that one because I can never remember it. And that gets me out of it because I'm like, I'm so stupid. And by that time, it's funny because I'm like, it's 5 things you can taste. I'm like, who can taste 5 things? Like, it's not that. But that's what my brain is like. I can't remember any of it. Yeah, I made it into a game, basically, where I just try to guess what made me start panicking. And I think about how hilarious it is that I think I'm about to die. I mean, it's so funny. No, there's no threat in sight. I think I'm going to die. That's funny.
So how relieved are you every time you don't die every day?
Well, I don't have them every day. Pretty uncommon. I'm like relieved, but I'm like, I'd already gone through the whole phase of like accepting it. You go through.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I guess this is it. And then it doesn't happen. And you're like, okay, I guess there's a little practice run. We should practice dying. Nobody ever practices dying. You know, it actually is. Think about it. Like it's a valid thing. Cause then otherwise you're just, and it's awful. But
yeah, let's start a program where you can practice dying with us. And then you don't have to be so freaked out.
Exactly. And when it happens, you're like, I've done this before.
Yeah, it feels good. I'm about to be accepting. Hold on. Here we are. All right, let's die.
So just whisper the answer so we don't evoke anything. But what's the key to get out of sleep paralysis? The Our Father or what?
Great question. Yeah. You have to sprinkle yourself in holy water. You try to wrinkle your nose and try to squiggle your toes and nose. Okay. And I stopped having mine because I was able to laugh at it as it was happening. Like I had one that was so bad that it became comical. And when I started laughing, I woke up from it and I didn't have them again.
Oh, that was the most crazy because it's like,
the demon's like, you're a fucking weirdo, right? And then they leave. So when it first happened, you really believed it was a demon, I have to assume, right?
Oh, for years. And I convinced somebody that there were ghosts in their house. And she didn't realize, because we got in like a fight and then we didn't talk to each other for like 10, 15 years. And when we got back together, I was like, oh, by the way, that was sleep paralysis. And she was like, I believed in ghosts until just now because of what you said.
Carmen, like, you're powerful.
Yeah.
It's fun. Was that rent controlled? Because I can see staying there for a decade after you're told there's fucking ghosts.
It was just a guy. It was the first house it was the room I had sex in for the first time. That was where I know. And my first demon ghosts. So
same. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me think of this. When we did the marathon recently, we had on Sam Evans and we said, say hi.
You know him?
Say hi to Carmen. And he goes, do I have to? So, we figured something's up, right? So unfortunately or fortunately, the two of you broke up. When you both have anxiety, when you would get into fights, does anybody try to out anxiety the other person?
Oh, we had to take turns for sure. Yeah, it would be like, it's kind of my turn right now to be, you just had this yesterday. And we're like, that's fair. All right.
And then you just shake it off like, all right, one car, 2 buildings, 3 pairs of shoes. All right, go ahead. Was it based on the pandemic that your person's always there and you don't have time to miss them, or was that unrelated?
Wait, what?
The breakup was the pandemic related and that your partner's always there, or was it unrelated?
Oh, that could be it. It could have sped things up, maybe. I don't know. The pandemic was such a weird time. I think it kind of fundamentally changed a lot of people at who they are. I don't know. It changed me fundamentally in a lot of ways. I went from, it felt like it was having a stroke or something where like you come out of it and you're like, oh, I'm actually type A now instead of type B. Like it just, my brain like shifted and
what did it shift to? What do you think? Like a more or less responsible person, or a more or less
more responsible for sure. Yeah. I started to like I'm an organized person now. My whole life I've been the most disgustingly messy person you've ever met in your life. And now I am very clean and organized. I blurred out the background, don't worry about it.
Well, that's a surprise to the other person too. Like, I didn't know we were cleaning up during this. He's a pig. It's like when Kyle goes, "Hey, starting Wednesday, we're going vegan." I'm like, this is some warning.
Yeah, it's hard to change and grow in a relationship with somebody. I feel. I don't know if that's probably not true for most people, but it's just it's very embarrassing to be like, I'm this person now. Like, I don't know.
It's also I don't know if funny's the word, but. I picture you saying, hey, I'm a different person now. This can't work out. and he goes, okay, so we moved in together. I'll just move out. But, it's funny. It doesn't work like that, right? No, it's just over. It's like a TV show. I'm thinking of a TV show. It was weekly. They went to 5 days a week. Nobody wanted 5 days a week. They go, you're canceled. And I picture the guy going, all right, back to one day. No, it's over. We got this far and now nothing.
Yeah. I might have suggested moving out. I don't know if I did or not, though.
Okay.
He would know because that seems like it'd be something that would hurt his feelings. Because, of course, But there are no rules. Why wouldn't that be? Who makes the rules? We all like abide by these crazy rules where it's like, well, you have to move in together. You can't then move out together. You can't do anything in any way that doesn't reflect on all the sitcoms that we watch. And then everybody's playing by these arbitrary rules, and everything is called toxic and bad if you don't follow those rules. And it's like, I don't know.
Right. There are more and more people who are opting in for 2 different bedrooms. And it's at first it was like, oh, obviously you hate each other, or you don't want to snuggle to your sleep, or whatever, did you annoy each other, or you want privacy for weird shit. But more and more people are like, hey, you snore, or if we opt into each other's bedrooms, there's probably going to be more sex because we're like making a conscious decision to be together. And I might get more sleep and like you more just because I've had more rest, like just because my brain is. So I think that's going to happen. Not in New York. We don't have room for that shit.
Right.
That's not a thing unless one of you is sleeping in the tub, in which case, hey, that's your own rules. We can make our own rules, but
that's under $500 a month. So not bad. How old were you when your parents divorced, Carmen?
I was 16, I think.
Do you drag your relationships on too long so that you don't feel like you're keeping the pattern going?
No, I think I do have a pattern. I think I think I'm breaking it now. We'll see. Relationship for like 1 year, then 2 years, then 3 years, 4 or 5, and Sam was 6. Again, these like long relationships.
So in the next
more and more commitment.
So who's my 7? Yeah. But it ends at 7. Sorry, I can't. I just got to stack it, like a
you got to go with somebody for 6 months just to break your cycle.
Yeah.
She's got to check her calendar. Like, let me see what I got going on 7 years from now. No, I'm asking for a date. I love your Twitter account, and everybody can follow, of course, Carmen Lagala. You wrote this the beginning of the year, and I wanted to know if this went to anything. Does your life ever pull some season finale shit, and you're like, okay, I'll keep watching? What happened that day? Because there's no tweet before or after.
No, I'm not telling. I am absolutely not putting that on the air. No, no.
Look at you. Well, I brought up learning that you're pansexual. This is some feed I'm looking at. Now, pansexual must be different than bisexual because it's a different word. So I know that. So I'm going to guess, because nobody talks about religion. So I'm going to guess this means transgender also, right?
Yes, but I think a lot of bisexual people would argue that they
love to argue. You're right.
That the pansexual definition sometimes makes it seem like they are transphobic. I had no idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then I'm like, I just read the pansexual definition and I was like, that one. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. I'm certainly not the person to ask or to define anything. Sure. I just like whatever the fuck. If I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you.
I wrote, when I was dating Carmen, get a load of this. I wrote, hey, I'm such a great guy.
Oh my God, stop.
Put me down for women of all kinds. I have a feeling, I think eventually somehow everybody's gonna be able to see everybody's what they rate on those apps. So you might as well fucking rate it, but I would have happily went on a date. It didn't work out that way, but what a great person I am. Have you slept with a transgender person?
No.
Okay, interesting. So we're on the same page, kind of. We're both the same.
No,
great people.
no, I'm rolling my eyes. Are you on that page? Are you on the page where we're rolling your eyes?
Here's Carmen's tweet. You ever see an ass that makes you lose your train of thought? Now, this was in February. Were you guys still together at the time? Because that would make me ask you a question.
I was in Colombia, and just a lot of great asses in Colombia.
That's a new slogan.
And I know that's like the thing, and everyone, I think they're a little bit annoyed by that stereotype perhaps, but man, their female police officers are the hottest women I've ever seen in my life. And they don't do anything. They kind of stand around in groups. They wear the tightest outfits I've ever seen. They all have their hair done, their makeup done, their nails done. They're usually like eating ice cream or like sucking on a lollipop. And I'm just like, this is wow. Yeah. I'm like, arrest me. I don't know what you do. Just
are you sure you weren't having
now.
sleep paralysis? What is happening in Colombia with ice cream and police?
They love ice cream and lollipops. Oh my God.
Well, was it just a vacation
here?
Yeah.
Vacation?
Yes. Yeah. I've always wanted to go to Colombia. I have a great grandmother. That side of the family is from there. I've always wanted to go. And
you know, they say Colombia. Do you know that? Yeah, that's how they say it. All right. Here's another tweet. My dad said, quote, "I've only been with 3 women." And I said, "Me too, this week." And he did not laugh. So now I guess he thinks I'm out here absolutely crushing puss. Good for you. Good for you. Carmen writes, "I don't care who you are. You could be a 100-year-old great grandma. If you touch my arm, my brain immediately thinks, quote, wait, are we going to fuck?" Isn't that the way of the world?
Right? If somebody touches your arm.
I can't say it. You can say it. I know it's because of capitalism, Carmen writes, but also I think maybe someone from the CDC had a quarantine with their mom for 10 days and was like, actually 5 days is fine. And get this, breaking news, because I really do know everything. Carmen has COVID right now.
Hell
Carmen.
Yeah, baby.
Colombia,
no, I got it here. No, Colombia couldn't have been better and more safe and less COVID-y. No one there was sick. I got home. I mean, I had a connecting flight in Fort Lauderdale, so but I got it here. I went out one night, first time I've gone out in New York City in so long, and immediately got it. That's where I got it. I went to Cobra Club and I did karaoke, so it's kind of on me, but me and two of my friends.
Yeah. We all inhale out of an empty bucket, and it was very. How bad did it get? Did it?
No, I've been sick before this, and this is the mildest one I've had in a while. It only lasted, I think I had symptoms for like 5 days.
And you're vaccinated, I assume? Yes,
and boosted. Yes.
And you have a great aunt that died of COVID. Is this a true story?
The joke is I make it a little bit weird. She's a great aunt, but in the joke I say great aunt twice removed to make it more funny, for the joke to be funnier. Yeah, but is a great aunt. Yeah, something like that. I didn't know who she was.
Well, that's the tweet. My great aunt died of COVID, and the hardest part about it was not asking my mom, which one was she again? I've had that. I've had sister. I don't know my extended family at all.
Yes,
we never had the meetings, this kind of thing. And so when a sister died, you were trying to console my mom, do whatever you can. But at the same time, you can't ask who the fuck was it? Is that my godparent?
Met them maybe once when I was 3.
Let's see here. If my plane to Colombia crashes, please tell everyone it's because the plane couldn't handle the weight of my ass. All right. So I see a pattern. Okay. And completely different. One time someone asked me how I felt about cancel culture, but I heard candle culture and got way too excited about the notes of pine.
I just put this one out, but it's my summer candle. It's Island Margarita. Oh,
beautiful.
Smells so good.
This is okay. Is this why candles are so expensive? We decided hey, let's put on a candle here and there. It refreshes the air. It does some stuff, and we look online. There's nothing cheaper than $15.
Yeah.
What's that? Don't me, both of you, like it's regular and we're going to take it.
Not that it's regular. Well, we're going to take it. That's how the whole show starts. A piece of shit world. The only way, you know how they say Jesus saves? That's because that's the only dollar candles you can buy.
And they're no good.
Those candles suck.
Yeah, the bodega candles are the only ones that are still affordable, but somehow
they last forever.
And somehow they suck. How does a candle suck?
They don't smell good. They don't bring Jesus into the house. I don't know what they're for.
And finally, we stopped sacrificing people in volcanoes, and I say bring it back just in case that was a thing. Yes. Who the fuck knows? Okay, we know there's a God, right? That's a fact. He demands that we pray to him daily or life will not be kind. Okay. But a volcano? No way. That can be real. It's an idea. And we look into everything. The science keeps changing.
And that reminds me, if you have not seen Joe versus the Volcano, if you're looking for something to watch, I think it's a good movie. Meg Ryan plays 3 different characters. What?
I already broke my TV in half.
That was Meg Ryan, right? That was Meg Ryan.
That was Meg Ryan. Okay,
here we go. Good. Silent trailers this Wednesday. I'm excited. I got Memento. I got this woman I just mentioned, Brian, whatever the fuck.
Right. Here's what you want to do. Okay. You want to follow Carmen online. All right. Would you say you're single, Carmen, or would you say what would you say?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, how much time do we have left?
She's on her 7-year itch. Does that matter?
The 7-year itch is the relationship she's nervous about next. Well, anyway.
I don't know. Flirt with me in person. See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. Come on. Comedians You Should Know is every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 p.m. at Gutter Bar in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Right? You might know it in the news some time ago. It had Ebola, but they've cleaned that up. It's been years.
Yeah. They asked us to stop talking about it on stage because we kept mentioning it every week.
Right. They don't find it funny.
Well, now that we're in a pandemic. But what a great show. The lineup really is, you guys, it's as if you know. Those are the comedians you should know for real. Like such a good lineup every time. Such a great space. Like it's an easy, fun hang. I think if you're in the neighborhood or if you're around in New York City, this is the one to go to.
Carmen Lagala on Twitter, like I said, and of course, the .com. You'll see everything right there. Carmen, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I've been cake the whole time.
Oh God, she's made out of cake.
I wish I had some cake to just smear on my face crazily.
And on Wednesday, we're going to do Silent Trailers Live. Go to keithandthegirl.com/tickets to get your tickets. And on Wednesday's show, I can tell you how I pooped myself this weekend.
What?
Have a good day.